welcome to the Romanesque and Pre-Gothic architecture presentation. So to start, Romanesque architecture emerged in the 10th century in Europe, flourishing until the rise of the Gothic style in the 12th century. It represents the first cohesive architectural style to spread across medieval Europe after the fall of the Roman Empire. The term Romanesque refers to the style that was rooted in ancient Roman architecture, and particular elements such as arches, vaults, and heavy machinery were very important. Influences also came from early Christian, Byzantine, and Islamic architecture, and created this kind of diverse cultural exchanges that all led to the Romanesque architecture style.
The Romanesque period represents a pivotal chapter in architectural history as it bridged the gap between the ancient Roman tradition and the more ambitious Gothic style. This era saw the introduction of key structural innovations, including rounded arches, barrel and groin vaults, and thick stone walls, which collectively addressed the need for durability and stability. These elements allowed architects to construct larger, more complex buildings capable of accommodating the growing Christian population and the increasing importance of religious rituals. Romanesque churches and monasteries were particularly notable for their fortress-like appearance, characterized by their heavy masonry, small windows, and simple yet powerful geometric forms. These features served both symbolic and functional purposes. The thick walls provided structural support while evoking a sense of permanence and divine strength, reflecting the church's central role in medieval life. Built along major pilgrimage routes, such as the famous Camino de Santiago in Spain, Romanesque churches became essential hubs for religious devotion and cultural exchange. They often housed relics of saints, attracting pilgrims from across Europe and fostering a sense of shared faith and identity. This movement of people helped disseminate architectural styles, techniques, and artistic motifs, unifying diverse regions under a common aesthetic and spiritual vision. Romanesque architecture profoundly influenced the development of the Gothic style, which built upon these foundations to achieve even greater heights of complexity and ornamentation. The Romanesque period thus stands as a testament to the adaptability of medieval architects, whose work continues to inspire admiration for its enduring impact on Western architectural heritage.
Romanesque period, emerging across countries like France, Germany, Italy, and Spain, reflects a shared architectural style shaped by social, cultural, political, and economic forces. The movement of people like pilgrims, rulers, craftsmen, and clergy spread building techniques and created a unified yet flexible style. The church's influence drove an unprecedented growth in church construction during the late 11th and 12th centuries, as religious devotion became the cultural aspect of medieval life. Feudal stability and growing wealth from trade and monastic centers funded large-scale projects, shifting focus from fortification to monumental religious buildings that symbolized both power and faith. Though unified, the style varied by region. Italy favored vibrant marble and classical influences, while France and Norman regions built towering cathedrals and square fortresses. German Romanesque leaned towards simpler, functional designs. In essence, the Romanesque style represents both unity across borders and adaptation to local traditions, reflecting the dynamic cultural exchange of medieval Europe.
This is the technological advancement section. Romanesque architecture saw significant technological advancements that had not been seen since the time of the Romans, one of the reasons for its name. One of the key developments was the extensive use of stone masonry, replacing timber as a primary construction material. This shift enabled the creation of more durable and fire-resistant structures. The introduction of the barrel vault and the groin vault were critical innovations. The barrel vault, a semicircular arch extended in depth, allowed for the construction of larger and more stable roofs. The groin vault, formed by the intersection of two barrel vaults, provided additional support and allowed for more complex and spacious interiors. These vaulting techniques facilitated the construction of massive stone churches and cathedrals with higher ceilings and larger windows. The use of thick walls and buttresses was another hallmark of Romanesque architecture, providing the necessary support for the heavy stone roofs. Semicircular arches, both in windows and doorways, became a defining characteristic, contributing to the aesthetic and structural integrity of the buildings. Overall, the technological advancements in Romanesque architecture, including the transition to stone masonry, the development of vaulting techniques, and the use of buttresses and arches, laid the foundation for the later Gothic style and left a lasting legacy in the history of architecture.
Now, to best understand the Romanesque architecture style, we have to know who played a significant role in how it came to be and what the style was. And we can start first by architect Buscetto. Architect Buscetto, who was active in the late 11th and 12th century, is credited with significant contributions to the Romanesque architecture style, particularly with his work of the Cathedral of Pisa, and that is in Italy. His work kind of is used as an embodiment of the Romanesque style and integrates innovative features that influenced later on within the medieval architecture. So a little bit more on the Cathedral of Pisa. Buscetto was the principal architect of this cathedral, and it began in 1063. It was considered this structure is considered one of the most finest examples of Romanesque architecture and showcases a blend of styles, but obviously a dominance on the Romanesque style. The importance of these kind of fusions of styles kind of shows this transition over into the new era of the Romanesque style, and also this cathedral serves as a important principle or precedent for the Romanesque architecture style because of its kind of newfound important elements. Next, an important influence was Edward the Confessor. Edward the Confessor was one of the last kings of England, and he played a significant role in the early adoption and promotion of Romanesque architecture in England. His contributions were tied to the Westminster Abbey, a project that introduced Roman architecture elements to the British Isles and laid the foundation for the style expansion after the Norman conquest. So rebuilding the Westminster Abbey, Edward initiated this kind of reconstruction or rebuilding of the church, and it was all inspired by the Romanesque architecture style, and I guess this was a change in the building itself because the design included rounded arches, which is a peak and a classic element of the Romanesque architecture style, thick walls, long piers, and vaulted ceilings. Again, very Romanesque heavy. And then we have our next influence, which was Abbot Sugar. Abbot Sugar kind of marked the departure of the Romanesque style into the Gothic style. There was kind of an experimentation with the structural techniques. So while Romanesque architecture heavily relies on massive walls for stability, Sugar promoted the use of pointed arches and ribbed vaults, which kind of redistributed the weight and allowed for less thickness in the walls. And we kind of understand this Romanesque architectural style of these rounded arches and these thick walls and heavy elements being converted into these kind of play with weight, such as, for example, like I just said, the change from the heavy walls or thick walls to the pointed arches and the ribbed vaults. We see the switch from the Romanesque style to the Gothic style.
Romanesque architecture holds significant relevance to modern design by laying foundational principles that continue to inspire contemporary architecture. Its structural innovations, such as thick walls and barrel vaults, paved the way for monumental verticality, seen in later styles like Gothic architecture, with features like flying buttresses evolving from these early techniques. This focus on structural advancement resonates today, particularly in designs that push engineering limits while maintaining functional integrity. Romanesque architecture's emphasis on large civic spaces also set a precedent for community-centered design, which remains crucial in modern public architecture. Buildings such as museums, libraries, and cultural centers echo this legacy, emphasizing accessibility and collective experience. Additionally, its symbolic connection to the divine offers a timeless lesson. Architects like Peter Zumthor designed with the same intentionality towards spiritual revelation. By incorporating light, materiality, and form, both Zumthor and Romanesque architects create structures that transcend mere function and invite contemplation. Finally, the strong regional identities reflected in Romanesque design remind us of the importance of grounding architecture in local culture, an idea increasingly important in our globalized world. This balance of tradition, innovation, and symbolism continues to inform today's approach to architectural thinking.
The Romanesque style is characterized by distinctive architectural elements that reflect its structural innovation. Churches from this period prominently feature the rounded Roman arch visible in windows, doors, and arcades, in contrast to the pointed arches of the Gothic style. Masonry vaulting, including barrel and groin vaults, replaced timber construction to offer better fire protection and supported the nave. Massive piers and thick walls were essential to contain the thrust of the vaults, while side aisles with galleries above them and large towers over the crossing of the nave and transept enhanced both function and visual impact. Smaller towers often adorned the western ends, contributing to the monumental appearance. General features of Romanesque architecture include its massive quality, thick walls, round arches, sturdy pillars, barrel vaults, large towers, and decorative arcading, all arranged in a symmetrical and relatively simple plan compared to the more ornate Gothic style. Early Romanesque buildings utilized rubble walls, smaller windows, and unvaulted roofs, while later developments saw more refined construction with dressed stone and increased use of vaulting. Beyond churches, Romanesque castles and fortifications served as defensive strongholds, their robust construction symbolizing power and providing security for nobles and lords.
Romanesque architecture, which flourished from the 10th to the 12th centuries, represents a period of significant technological and cultural advancement in medieval Europe. This era laid the groundwork for the more intricate Gothic style, with innovations like rounded arches, barrel and groin vaults, and thick masonry walls that provided stability for complex structures. The style's emergence across regions such as France, Germany, Italy, and Spain was influenced by dynamic social, cultural, and political and economic factors. The construction of churches along pilgrimage routes, such as the Camino de Santiago, facilitated the spread of architectural styles, highlighting the era's religious devotion and community life. Technological advancements, including the transition to stone masonry and advanced vaulting techniques, were crucial for creating durable and fire-resistant structures. Prominent figures like Abbot Suger and architect Buscetto played key roles in promoting Romanesque architecture. The style's distinctive elements and emphasis on structural integrity have left a lasting legacy, continuing to inspire modern architectural designs.